All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. So as tensions continue to flare up in the Red Sea, the United States and the United Kingdom have launched their very first strikes against the Houthi-linked targets across Yemen. The Houthis say that at least about 5 Yemeni people have been killed and 6 others have been wounded in these deadly attacks by the Americans. Now, according to the American President Joe Biden, these air bombings by the Americans and the British are backed by Australia, Canada, Bahrain and the Netherlands. Now, this attack has come just days after the navies of the two nations had thwarted the biggest Houthi attack in the Red Sea so far. Now, this, remember, is the first attack against the Iran-backed Houthis since the Houthis effectively shut down the Red Sea corridor in the aftermath of the Israeli offensive in the Gaza Strip and the Palestinians. The strikes have reportedly been carried out by aircraft, ship and submarines, and according to reports, Western militaries are targeting drone and missile launch sites along with radar stations and weapons stockpiles in Yemen's coastal areas. The counteroffensive aims to halt the Houthi missile and drone assault in the vital shipping route. The Houthis have also confirmed that the Western raids struck certain targets in the capital city of Sana'a, along with the cities of Sada and Dhamar, as well as in the Hodeidah governorate. The Houthis have termed these attacks, and I quote here, an American, Zionist and British aggression on the Yemeni people.
The American and British enemy bears full responsibility for its criminal aggression against our Yemeni people, and it will not go unanswered and unpunished.
Now, on the other hand, the American president has issued a statement following the strikes which reads, and I quote here, today at my direction, the United States military forces together with the United Kingdom and with support from Australia, Bahrain, Canada and the Netherlands have successfully conducted strikes against a number of targets in Yemen used by the Houthi rebels to endanger freedom of navigation in one of the world's most vital waterways. Now, on the other hand, the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has also confirmed that the Royal Air Force took part in these air bombings on Houthi facilities in Yemen. He added, and I quote here, their reckless actions are now risking lives at the sea and are exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in Yemen. A joint statement from the governments of Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, New Zealand, the Republic of Korea, the United Kingdom and the United States has also been released. The countries have said that they will not hesitate to defend their lives and to protect the free flow of commerce in the critical waterways in the face of continued threats. Now, following these bombings, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, in fact took to his social media account on the platform X. He said that the Houthis have a serious price to pay for their global act of terror. Now, holding the Biden administration to account, he said that this incident should in fact shift the U.S. government's approach to Iran. Now, the Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles has said that the country provided personnel support and operational headquarters to the United States and the United Kingdom in the operation against the Houthis. The Defence Minister has further said, and I quote here, Australia will continue to support any actions which assert the global rules-based order. The Yemen's neighbouring Saudi Arabia has immediately voiced, quote-unquote, great concern over these airstrikes and has urged against any escalation in the Red Sea by any actor. Now, the American Secretary of State Anthony Blinken also spoke with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, welcoming the increased cooperation with India to defend the freedom of navigation in the region. The Houthis, who control much of Yemen, have been targeting commercial vessels in the Red Sea to show their support for Hamas following the war and the offensive that Israel has unleashed. The attacks have disrupted international commerce on the route between Europe and Asia that accounts for nearly about 12% of the world's shipping traffic. And to give us more updates on this, we're being joined in by our correspondent Stuart Smith, who's joining us live from London. So, Stuart, this is the first direct involvement that we are seeing in the crisis that is unfolding in the Red Sea by the Americans and by the British. What are you picking up from your sources there? Is this a one-off attack that the United Kingdom and the United States have carried out, or is this now going to be a sustained campaign on the part of the British and the Americans?
The way the Ministry of Defence is talking about it here in London is that this is intended as a one-off attack. It says that no further action is planned for now, and that the result of those 60 strikes against very carefully selected sites, the Ministry of Defence says, has caused a blow to the Houthis' ability to target merchant shipping, to target commercial ships going through the Red Sea, many of which have now had to go and take alternative shipping routes, much longer, more expensive routes, around, for example, South Africa. Now, the UK says that it is a proportional response to the attacks against civilian vessels, and that it hopes with this it's not only sending a clear message to the Houthis, it's also managed to damage the facilities, equipment, sites within Yemen it was using to conduct those attacks. Now, that could be the end of it, but the Houthis have said already on Friday they have responded to that attack with another attack of their own. That hasn't been confirmed by officials here in London, but the Houthis have said that they are going to continue their attacks against commercial vessels and have also threatened the UK and the United States directly. So there's no sign that the Houthis are taking this in the way that the UK and US might have hoped.
What is happening in the Red Sea, Stuart, is quite clearly a spillover of the conflict in the Gaza Strip. Now, are we looking into the next phase of this war, perhaps, where the hostilities have spilled way beyond the Gaza Strip, and the Red Sea corridor, which had been witnessing attacks by Houthis, could now become a key battlefield?
It's interesting to hear how politicians in the US and the UK are talking about this. They are trying to separate it, to not characterise this as any spillover from Israel and Gaza, to say that this is separate. It's a problem they have with commercial shipping being threatened by the Houthis and civilians on those ships being put at risk. But that's not necessarily how the rest of the world is going to interpret these events, especially Iran, which is financing and provides military equipment to the Houthis. There is a danger, which the UK says it's aware of, but does for now not expect any escalation, with this turning into a broader fight. Much of what will happen will depend on what the Houthi response is like, with the UK saying for now it doesn't intend further strikes. But this now, to an extent, is out of the hands of those navies in the Red Sea. It's really up to the Houthis where this goes next.
Right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Stuart Smith, for joining us from London and getting us those updates there. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.